was at Google. I was part of the team that created the transformer. We built it for Translate, then we saw it pop up in Search, Gmail, Docs. It swept Alphabet's product areas. And it was super exciting because like one night I went to bed and models could barely spell a sentence properly. And then the next morning, it felt like I woke up and they were writing documents as fluently as a human could. So that was magical and extraordinary and super exciting. But in the 3 years after that, I think my co-founders and we just kept waiting for the transformation to come. Mm-hmm. There was this extraordinary technology and we thought everything was going to change, and then it didn't. And so eventually we decided, okay, you know what? No one's going to change it if we don't leave and do it ourselves. And so we left Google and we decided to build Cohere. And that core mission was to put this technology into as many hands, as many organizations, as many products as we possibly could.
So what makes Cohere different in this emerging global phenomenon?
Yeah, I think that we're different in a few different ways. One of which is that we're independent. We're not beholden to any one cloud provider. And so as enterprises look for their partner to help them transform their products with large language models or with AI, one thing to be very cautious of is vendor lock-in. And so for Cohere, we're available everywhere, every single cloud provider, on-prem, wherever we need to be. The second piece to be cautious of is data privacy. And so we're able to deploy within a VPC, within a completely private environment, to the extent that we can't even see the data flowing through the models. And so that's super important to actually putting these models into mission critical use cases. This is like an interface level change, the way people interact with the technology. What's just been unlocked in the past couple of years is you can use language as an interface onto computational systems. And that's really special. Like it's hard to overstate that. When you have these like interface level changes, I think there's two things here. There's one, which is the interface level change. This is how people are going to expect to interact with a product. There's going to be consumer expectations, consumer demands that have to be met. The second thing is like the automation of intellectual work. And so I think we're going to see something similar to what the steam engine did for physical work. We're going to see that same thing happen for intellectual work.
I got to know you through Nicholas, who I still call Nicholas. I can't stop. I don't know why. And he worked with us for a couple of years before going to work with Jeff. And I think that's a really great basis for being introduced to you, because I'm a big fan of Nicholas from the past days when I came to Inovia. One of the very first things was to reach out to see how things were going with Nicholas's startup, right? And that's how we met.
Yeah, I remember in the early days of Cohere, Nick was strategizing on how to get you involved. I remember him going to dinner with you at your place. And we were thinking about how we can pull Steve into the loop. So I'm glad that we finally, 3 years later.
We're very proud to have been allowed into that group of people who want to be supportive of you. Beyond us, like what do you look for in that?
I think when considering this race and our partnership, I really needed to build trust with you and with the broader team at Inovia. And so it was good to build that and to get that. I think that the board it's the heart, the beating heart of the company. And I think that protecting that is something I've taken extremely, extremely seriously. And so I'm lucky that I'm bringing on, another amazing person to help build it with, someone who I really feel that I can trust. What are you excited about? Why did you decide to invest in Cohere?
Our entire raison d'etre is to invest in great Canadian entrepreneurs who have a great worldwide mission. And there are great entrepreneurs and there are missions worth doing. Very few ideas can fundamentally change society, can fundamentally add more value to humankind. And this is sort of obviously one such potential. And, it's insane to not be associated with it if you can find a way to be associated with it and supportive of it and help it to be successful in driving that value. You're here, which is in this case in Cohere, but also in Toronto, also in Ontario, also in Canada. And this is a company that is global in every conceivable sense, has impact worldwide in many, many, many ways. But you chose to be here. You could be anywhere. How do you think about that? Like, how do you feel about Canada in the context of building companies?
I think for us, we viewed Toronto as a strategic decision. There's so much talent here, being trained by literally the best in the world. And so by planting ourselves here, we have very little competition for that talent. And we are, I think, the most exciting thing happening in the city. So from a talent acquisition perspective, it was very strategic. There's the emotional piece too, which is like, this is home.
Right. Inovia has a philosophy, which is one of the reasons I came, about supporting Canadian tech entrepreneurs. So we're very fortunate that you three happened along.
Yeah, and Canada is super fortunate to have you guys actually pushing forward that imperative. I think it's important that we build global tech companies like Shopify and Cohere, that we build them here with a focus on serving the world.
Going forward, many things to do. That's a great lead into how you got here, why you're here, why all three of you are here. Where are we going? Where are we going from here?
Yeah, so we're existing in like a really fascinating moment in time. I think that if you and I were having this conversation a year ago, we'd probably have to be explaining, what is an LLM? Why is it important? Here's why you should care. We're in a very different place now. We're like post-awareness, but we're pre-adoption. We're pre-implementation. And so every single organization, every single enterprise is thinking through, how do I change my product? How do I change my company using these LLMs? And they're kicking off the projects that are going to realize this huge industry shift that I think we're going to see, well in progress in 18 months. And so for Cohere, our mission is to be the partner to those enterprises.